Welcome to our deep dive into Shonda Rhimes' book, Year of Yes.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to explore her journey
Okay.
of personal transformation as she confronts her fears and embraces new experiences.
Right.
And what makes this even more interesting is that we're hearing this story from a successful, introverted woman
Yeah.
and a working mother, a perspective
Yeah.
you don't often come across.
It is a unique perspective, and her journey really strikes a chord because
Yeah.
so many of us, regardless of where we are in life, can relate to feeling stuck or hesitant, even when things are going well on the surface.
The whole Year of Yes concept is triggered by a simple observation
Okay.
by Rhimes' sister Dolores.
Uh-huh.
It's Thanksgiving dinner, and amidst all the family chaos,
Right.
Dolores casually drops the bomb.
Okay.
You never say yes to anything.
Wow.
I don't know about you, but if my sister said that to me,
Yeah.
I think I'd spend the rest of the meal trying to prove her wrong.
And that's precisely Rhymes's initial reaction.
Yeah.
Resistance.
Yeah.
She identifies as someone who's always been introverted,
Right.
finding comfort in her own world.
Yeah.
Saying yes to everything just seemed completely out of character.
But then comes the big revelation.
Uh-huh.
Rhimes admits to feeling unhappy.
Oh, wow.
Despite all her success,
Yeah.
here she is creating these dynamic, complex characters who are living such full lives while she feels like she's fading into the background. It's a real aha moment, not just for her, but for anyone listening who might be in a similar place.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, what are we missing out on when we let fear dictate our choices?
That contrast between her characters and her own life is so striking.
Yeah.
It's as though she poured all her vibrancy into her work, leaving her own personal life feeling depleted.
Right.
She even compares her inner self to a flame that had been extinguished.
I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling, being successful on paper,
Yeah.
but feeling empty inside. It's a good reminder that achieving things doesn't necessarily equate to living a fulfilling life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that realization is what ultimately pushes Rhimes
Right.
to embark on her year of yes.
Oh,
To step out of her comfort zone
Yeah.
and confront those fears that are holding her back.
And she really dives in head first.
She does.
From attending the Kennedy Center honors
Yeah.
and sitting in the presidential box to appearing on Jimmy Kimmel Live
Oh, wow.
and delivering a commencement speech. It's a whirlwind of yeses.
It's fascinating to see how those public appearances forced her to tackle her stage fright,
Yeah.
something she had avoided for most of her career.
Right.
Here's this woman who created some of the most captivating television shows,
Right.
yet she felt invisible,
Yeah.
even back in her college theater days.
I find it interesting that even when she's saying yes, there's a deeper layer at play. She even admits that if someone had asked her to be in the presidential box,
Okay.
she probably would have declined. It makes you think about all the missed opportunities we might be creating for ourselves by letting fear dictate our choices.
Exactly. And it highlights how sometimes the most rewarding experiences come from those
Right.
unexpected yeses, those moments where we step outside our comfort zones and embrace the unknown.
But Rhimes doesn't just talk about saying yes. She also delves into the power of no.
Okay.
Early on, she tells this story about how she said no to a particular actress,
Right.
and it led to Sandra Oh being cast as Christina Yang in Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, wow.
That one no completely changed the course of the show.
Yeah.
And launched Sandra Oh's career. It's a pretty powerful example of how a well-placed no can actually lead to something amazing.
It really challenges the notion that we should always be agreeable or say yes to every opportunity that comes our way.
Yeah.
What's so insightful about this experience is that it highlights the importance of setting boundaries and protecting your time and resources. Rhimes makes it clear that no is a complete sentence.
Yeah.
You don't need to over-explain or apologize for it.
That's such a valuable lesson, especially for women who are often conditioned to be people pleasers.
Right.
Rhimes even shares a story about saying no to a large financial request from a friend,
Oh, wow.
which must have been incredibly difficult.
Yeah.
But she talks about the incredible sense of liberation that came with setting that boundary.
And that story really resonates because it speaks to a bigger issue.
Yeah.
Rhimes is challenging the expectation, especially for women, to be constantly accommodating. It's a reminder that it's okay to put yourself first sometimes, to say no without feeling guilty.
That leads us into another myth that Rhimes tackles,
Okay.
the idea of the perfect working mother.
Right.
She openly admits that she relies on a support system, including her nanny, Janie McCarthy, whom she affectionately refers to as the SEAL Team 6 of nannies.
I love that she calls her that. And it's so refreshing to hear this kind of honesty.
Yes.
She shatters the illusion that successful women can magically do it all without any help. Instead of perpetuating this unattainable ideal, she acknowledges the reality of juggling work and family life, emphasizing the importance of seeking support when needed.
Her honesty about this is so relatable.
It is.
She even talks about feeling inadequate compared to other PTA moms.
Oh, yeah.
Who seem to effortlessly whip up homemade brownies while she's struggling.
Right.
Just to keep up with her work deadlines.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that we don't have to conform to some predefined image of what a good mother should be.
And that's such an important message for anyone feeling the pressure to live up to impossible standards.
Yeah.
Rhimes encourages us to embrace our own version of motherhood, whether it's perfectly polished or beautifully imperfect. What matters most is that we're present and engaged with our children in whatever way works best for us.
Rhimes also talks about the struggle of feeling comfortable with success.
Okay.
She talks about learning to simply say thank you to compliments instead of downplaying her accomplishments or feeling the need to explain them away.
This shift from fake it till you make it to genuine badassery is a key takeaway from the book.
Right.
It's about owning your success, your power, and your brilliance without apology.
Yeah.
She uses the example of Wonder Woman,
Right.
who doesn't shy away from her heroic feats. She owns them.
She even literally practices power posing just like Wonder Woman.
I love that.
It might sound silly, but she actually references studies about how posture can impact your self-esteem and how others perceive you.
It's a reminder that even small changes in our physicality can have a significant impact on our mindset and behavior. Sometimes just standing tall and taking up space can be a powerful act of self-affirmation.
Another area where Rhimes challenges societal expectations is when it comes to happy endings. She completely deconstructs those traditional notions of marriage and romance.
Right.
Even revealing that she chose not to marry.
Wow.
Despite being in a loving relationship.
I think this challenges a deeply ingrained belief that marriage is the ultimate goal.
Yeah.
The final chapter in every woman's story.
Right.
What Rhimes is doing is so powerful because she's reminding us that we have the right to define what success and happiness look like for ourselves, regardless of societal norms.
It's about finding fulfillment on your own terms, whether it involves a traditional marriage or not.
Right.
She even talks about how she witnessed a truly loving and successful marriage between her own parents.
Okay.
So it's not about rejecting the institution itself, but rather about choosing what feels authentic and right for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And her decision to prioritize her writing and her children over a traditional marriage speaks volumes about her self-awareness and her commitment to living a life true to her values.
Speaking of challenges, she gets pretty candid about juggling a demanding career with motherhood.
Yeah.
There's this one anecdote that really stuck with me where she misses one of her daughter's recitals because of a work event.
Yeah.
That moment becomes a turning point where she realizes she's missing out on precious time with her kids and makes a conscious effort to prioritize family time.
That moment of realization is so relatable.
It is.
Many of us, regardless of our profession, face similar dilemmas trying to balance the demands of work and family. It's a constant negotiation, and sometimes we inevitably drop the ball.
It's a reminder that even the most successful people make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it's what we learn from those mistakes that truly matters.
And she doesn't just recognize the problem, she actively makes changes.
Right.
She starts incorporating playtime into her daily routine. Something she admits she didn't do much of as a child.
Right.
Remember, she was the kid who preferred the library to the playground?
It's interesting to see how she's now rediscovering the importance of play, not just for her children, but for herself as well.
Absolutely. She's realizing that taking time to play and reconnect with her inner child is essential for her well-being and her creativity.
Right.
It's a great reminder for all of us to make time for those activities that bring us joy and help us recharge, no matter how busy our lives may seem.
And it's not just about playtime.
Yeah.
Rhimes also gets real about her struggles with weight and health.
Okay.
She describes a gradual weight gain tied to stress hormonal changes and using food as a coping mechanism.
She's very honest about the internal battles she faces.
Yeah.
Between choosing what she calls veal practice,
Okay.
indulging in comfort food, and staying in her comfort zone
Yeah.
and choosing to prioritize her health.
Right.
It's a struggle that so many people can relate to.
What I find fascinating about this part of her journey is how she ultimately decides to say yes to the hard work of weight loss. But not without acknowledging the deeply ingrained societal pressures surrounding body image.
Yeah.
She's careful to point out that the problem isn't fatness itself,
Right.
but the negative self-talk and judgment that often accompany it.
It's a really powerful message about self-acceptance.
Yes.
And challenging those unrealistic beauty standards that are constantly bombarding us.
Yeah.
Rhimes encourages us to shift our focus from trying to achieve some arbitrary ideal to prioritizing our health and well-being in a holistic way.
And it's not just about physical health.
Yeah.
It's about mental and emotional well-being as well.
Right.
She talks about the importance of therapy and having a support system to help her navigate the ups and downs of life.
It seems like self-awareness is a recurring theme in her journey.
Oh, yeah.
Rhimes talks about this process of uncovering her true self.
Right.
The person behind the persona she had created for the world.
Yeah.
It's as though she was playing a role.
And over time, that role started to feel less and less authentic.
She describes it using this powerful train metaphor.
Oh, okay.
She had laid the tracks, built this persona, and for a long time that train was running smoothly.
Yeah.
But as she starts saying yes to new experiences, she realizes the train is heading in the wrong direction towards a destination that no longer aligns with who she truly is.
That realization must have been both exciting and terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like stepping off a familiar path and venturing into uncharted territory.
Yeah.
You don't know what you'll find, but you know you can't stay on that train any longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And she talks about the discomfort of shedding old beliefs and behaviors, even the ones that had served her well in the past. It's like peeling back layers of an onion, revealing a new, more vulnerable version of herself.
Yeah.
It's a process that can be messy and uncomfortable, but it's ultimately necessary for growth.
You mentioned those uncomfortable moments, and one that really stood out was when Rhimes talks about her experiences as a successful woman in a male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
It's disheartening to hear how she still faced sexism and microaggressions, even after achieving such a high level of success.
There's this one anecdote that's particularly telling.
Okay.
She's at an event, and a male client compliments her dress. She tries to be polite and gives a simple thank you, but ends up smiling awkwardly. And the guy's reaction is so revealing.
Yeah.
He recoils as if she's suddenly become a threat.
It's incredible how such a small interaction can highlight those ingrained biases and assumptions about how women should behave.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder how many times Rhimes had to downplay her accomplishments or make herself smaller just to fit in or make others feel comfortable.
It's a pattern that so many women can relate to.
Yeah.
And it's something that Rhimes actively starts to challenge in her year of.
Yes.
She realizes that minimizing herself is a form of self-sabotage, a way of denying her own power and brilliance.
And it's inspiring to see how she consciously chooses to break free from that pattern.
Yeah.
She embraces her success, owns her accomplishments, and even adds the word badassery to her dictionary.
I love that.
She's not just accepting who she is, she's celebrating it.
And that's such an important message for women, especially in a society that often tries to put us in a box.
Right.
Rhimes encourages us to embrace our inner Wonder Woman, to stand tall and claim our rightful place in the world.
Another theme that resonated with me was the importance of finding your tribe.
Oh, yeah.
Those people who truly support and inspire you.
Right.
Rhimes talks about how her ride or die list, those closest friends, evolves during her year of yes.
She makes this astute observation about how sometimes we hold on to friendships more for the idea of them than for the actual reality of the relationship.
Yeah.
It's like we create these idealized versions of people in our minds, and then we're disappointed when they don't live up to those expectations.
She calls those idealized versions avatars.
Yeah.
Which is such a perfect description.
It is.
It's like we're projecting our own desires and needs onto these people. And then we're let down when they inevitably fall short.
It's a painful realization, but it's a necessary part of growth.
Right.
As we evolve, our relationships need to evolve as well. And sometimes that means letting go of connections that are no longer serving us,
Yeah.
even if it's difficult.
And sometimes those connections aren't even with real people,
Right.
but with fictional characters.
Yeah.
Rhimes talks about the profound impact that Christina Yang from Grey's Anatomy had on her life, both personally and professionally.
Right.
She even describes Christina as one of her best friends.
It speaks to the power of storytelling.
Yeah.
How fictional narratives can provide comfort, inspiration, and even a sense of belonging. Rhimes saw so much of herself in Christina. Her ambition, her fears, her vulnerability.
Right.
And when Sandra left the show,
Yeah.
it was like losing a real friend for Rhimes.
That loss must have been incredibly difficult, especially since it mirrored the real life, letting go of relationships that were no longer healthy or fulfilling.
It was a significant turning point for Rhimes.
Yeah.
A moment where she realized the importance of honoring her own needs.
Right.
And letting go of what was no longer serving her, whether it was a person or even a beloved fictional character.
And speaking of letting go, one of the surprising revelations in the book is Rhimes' decision not to get married.
Right.
She even describes breaking up with a partner.
Wow.
Who assumed she wanted that traditional happy ending.
Okay.
It's a bold statement, especially in a culture that often pressures women to follow a specific path.
What's so powerful about Rhimes' choice is that she's not rejecting marriage as a concept. She even talks about how she witnessed a beautiful and successful marriage between her own parents.
Yeah.
But she's challenging the idea that marriage is the only path to happiness and fulfillment, especially for women.
She's essentially saying that her happy ending doesn't have to fit into a predefined box.
Yeah.
She chooses to prioritize her own needs and her passion for writing and motherhood.
Right.
It's a powerful declaration of self-love and a reminder that we have the right to create our own definitions of success and happiness.
And it's not just about rejecting societal expectations.
Right.
It's also about recognizing what truly brings you joy and fulfillment.
Yeah.
For Rhimes, that's her writing and her children. She even describes her first love as writing.
Oh, wow.
Which is such a beautiful way of putting it.
And that passion is evident in everything she creates.
It is.
It's clear that she pours her heart and soul into her work.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes her story so compelling.
Speaking of compelling stories.
Rhimes shares a series of yeses that pushed her physically and emotionally.
Right.
She commits to a new fitness regimen, confronts her fear of public speaking, and even agrees to a photo shoot, something that terrified her.
Yeah.
These experiences highlight the transformative power of stepping outside our comfort zones.
You mentioned that photo shoot, and it really stood out to me.
Yeah.
How uncomfortable she was with the entire process.
Right.
It wasn't just about being in front of the camera. It was about confronting those deep-seated insecurities about her appearance.
By saying yes to that photo shoot, she not only challenged her fear of being seen, but she also began to unpack those internalized beauty standards that were causing her so much discomfort.
Yeah.
That's such a powerful takeaway for anyone struggling with body image.
It's a reminder that sometimes our fears are rooted in societal messages that we've internalized over time.
Yeah.
And by facing those fears head on,
we can start to dismantle those harmful beliefs and embrace our true selves.
Another powerful anecdote involves Rhimes and her youngest daughter.
Okay.
She's exhausted after a long day, but her daughter asks her to play.
Right.
Initially, Rhimes hesitates, but then she chooses to say yes, even though it means getting her fancy gown wrinkled.
It's such a beautiful moment.
It is.
Because it shows how even small acts of presence can create a powerful connection.
Yeah.
It's a reminder to slow down and cherish those everyday moments, especially with our loved ones.
It's about shifting our focus from achieving and doing to simply being.
Yeah.
Rhimes realizes that those moments of genuine connection with her children are more valuable than any award or accolade.
She even talks about incorporating playtime into her daily routine, rediscovering the joy of simple activities like blowing bubbles with her daughters. It's a beautiful reminder that play isn't just for children. It's essential for adults, too.
It helps us tap into our creativity, reduce stress,
and
reconnect with that sense of wonder that we often lose as we get older. It's about remembering to have fun and not take ourselves too seriously.
Rhimes also reflects on the importance of downtime,
Yeah.
those moments of quiet reflection and solitude
Right.
that are essential for her creative process.
She used to feel guilty about taking time for herself, but she's come to recognize it as a necessity, not a luxury.
Right.
She even compares it to athletes who need time to rest and recover after a strenuous workout.
It's a reminder that we can't pour from an empty cup.
Right.
If we don't take care of ourselves, both physically and emotionally,
Yeah.
we won't be able to show up fully for our work or our relationship.
And speaking of relationships,
Okay.
she shares this powerful story about a time when she had to say no to a close friend who asked for a large sum of money.
It highlights the importance of setting boundaries in all our relationships, even the ones that are closest to our hearts.
Right.
It can be incredibly difficult to say no to someone we love,
It can.
but it's crucial for maintaining healthy relationships.
Rhimes realizes that saying no in this situation was an act of self-respect, both for herself and for her friend.
Yeah.
It was about protecting her own financial well-being
Right.
and preventing resentment from building up.
It's a reminder that sometimes saying no is the most loving thing we can do,
Yeah.
both for ourselves and for others.
Right.
It allows us to show up in our relationships with integrity and authenticity.
As Rhimes' year of yes draws to a close, it's clear that she's a changed woman.
Yeah.
She's more confident, more self-aware, and more willing to embrace the unexpected. But her journey isn't over.
Right.
She recognizes that saying yes is a lifelong practice, a commitment to continuous growth and evolution.
It's inspiring to see how she's embraced the messy, imperfect journey of self-discovery.
It is.
She's not afraid to stumble, to make mistakes, to question everything. And through it all, she emerges stronger, wiser, and more authentically herself.
And she leaves us with this thought-provoking question.
What would your year of yes look like?
It's a powerful challenge to examine our own lives and consider what we might be saying no to out of fear or what we're holding on to out of comfort or habit.
It's a call to action.
Yeah.
To create a life that's more aligned with our authentic selves.
Right.
A life that's filled with more joy, more meaning, and more genuine connection.
What strikes me about Rhimes' story is how she manages to weave together all these different aspects of life, career, motherhood, relationships, self-care, into a cohesive narrative that resonates on so many levels.
It's not just a self-help book.
Right.
It's a story about what it means to be human, to navigate the complexities of life, and to come out on the other side stronger and more whole.
She's so vulnerable and honest in her writing. She doesn't shy away from the messy parts. Right.
Moments of self-doubt, the setbacks, times when she stumbles or even falls flat on her face.
There's this one anecdote that really illustrates this, where she describes taking driving lessons.
Oh, yeah.
And having this near-death experience.
So driving lessons.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
She's behind the wheel, completely overwhelmed with fear.
Right.
And she freezes up, forgets how to drive.
Oh, wow.
Almost crashes the car.
It's a terrifying moment.
Yeah.
But it becomes a powerful metaphor for how she tends to react in the face of fear.
Yeah.
She realizes that if she had just said no to the driving lesson, she could have avoided the whole ordeal.
But she also recognizes that by avoiding the fear, she would have missed out on the opportunity to learn and grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That experience taught her that she could get through even the most terrifying situations, and that the fear itself wasn't as powerful as she had imagined.
It ties back to that theme of saying yes.
And pushing beyond your comfort zone.
Right.
But Rhimes also emphasizes the importance of saying no.
And she makes it clear that saying no isn't about being negative or resistant.
Yeah.
It's about setting boundaries and protecting your time, energy, and well-being.
She even compares saying no to Rosa Parks refusing to give up her seat on the bus.
Oh, wow.
It's about having the courage to stand up for what you believe in, even if it means going against the grain.
It's a powerful reminder that we have the right to say no to anything that doesn't align with our values or our own sense of well-being.
Sometimes that no can be the catalyst for a personal revolution, a chance to redefine our priorities and reclaim our power.
Rhimes also talks about the importance of being present, of savoring those small everyday moments that we often take for granted.
Like that moment at the gala when her daughter asks her to play and she drops to the floor in her fancy gown and just joins in the fun.
It's a beautiful illustration of how those moments of genuine connection
Yeah.
those bursts of pure joy and presence,
Right.
are what make life truly meaningful.
It's a reminder to slow down, put away the to-do list,
Yeah.
and appreciate the simple things.
And to be fully present with the people we love.
Rhimes shares another insightful anecdote
Okay.
about a conversation she overheard between her parents.
Oh, yeah.
They were discussing some complex psychological theory late at night, and young Shonda was baffled by their passionate engagement.
Right.
She couldn't understand why they were so excited
Yeah.
about something that seemed so dry and intellectual.
Right.
But later she realized that their shared intellectual curiosity was a key ingredient in their long and happy marriage.
It wasn't just about romance. It was about having that deep connection on an intellectual and emotional level, about being able to engage in meaningful conversations.
Right.
Even about complex psychological theory.
It's about finding someone who challenges you, inspires you,
Yeah.
and makes you want to grow and learn together.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Shonda Rhimes' Year of Yes, I'm struck by her willingness to challenge the status quo, to redefine success and happiness on her own terms.
She encourages us to do the same.
She does.
To embrace the messy, imperfect beauty of life.
Yeah.
And to say yes to the experiences that truly light us up.
It's been an incredible journey exploring her story.
It has.
And I hope it sparks some ideas for you, some questions to ponder, some new possibilities to explore.
What will you say yes to today?
That's a great question.
What fear will you confront?
Yeah.
What adventure awaits you on the other side of your comfort zone?
Those are questions worth considering, and I encourage you to keep exploring them.
Yes.
Because who knows what incredible discoveries you might make when you dare to say yes to your own life.
And with that, we conclude our deep dive into Shonda Rhimes' transformative Year of Yes.